My name is William Bean. How many people here are from US? Raise your hand. Okay. How about how many people from China? Like 3. How many from Taiwan? Okay. Good. Awesome. So how many people can understand what I'm saying? Okay, good. Do they get slides here or no? Okay, great. So I'm a partner at SOSV. We're the accelerator VC. We're a venture capital firm that actually runs accelerators around the world. So we're going to talk today a little bit about Taiwan and going global. Who here was at the panel this morning with the investors? Anybody? Okay, 2 of you. So I think you all know that Taiwan is an island. And what the panel talked about this morning is Taiwan being cut off from the rest of the world. Okay? They said that the investment infrastructure in Taiwan is underdeveloped. And that if Taiwan is going to have a place in the new world economy, it's going to need to go global. So how does Taiwan go global? When the Taiwan entrepreneurs I talk to, they talk about going out to Asia, they have a sense of uncertainty. Okay? They know Taiwan, but they don't know the rest of Asia. They certainly don't know Southeast Asia that well. When they talk about China, generally, it's with some excitement, but mostly fear. Most Taiwan startups that have gone to China failed. And I'm talking about on the internet side. Most international companies that have gone into China in the internet sector have failed. Why is that? So 95% of the companies from around the world, mostly US, Europe, including Taiwan, don't belong in China. And it's not because of government restriction. It's not because there's no big market there to be had. It's because they're lacking one certain thing. So who here has heard of 10,000 hours? So it takes 10,000 hours to figure out, to become good at something, to become proficient at something. So you all have spent 10,000 hours and probably longer in your lives focused on the Taiwan market. But Taiwan's a digital country. Your first experience with the internet was on PCs. Well, in China, the vast majority of people, their first digital experience was on a mobile phone. So it's not that your products are bad. It's just that they don't fit. Your instincts are wrong. Usually when you build a product, you go with your gut. But your gut is going to tell you to create a project that in China is likely to fail. And actually in most emerging markets, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, South America is likely to fail. So Taiwan's very, very well known. I've been here for, the first time I lived here was in 1993. Yeah, I'm old. And known for components, semis, okay, hardware, logistics, but not known for the internet. As nearly as I can tell, there are no global leading internet companies from Taiwan. Jamie, is that about right? Yeah, okay, yeah, no, 0. So we're going to talk first about China, and then we're going to go into rest of world. So the first billion, give or take, I put are developed markets, or digital markets, using the PC to get on the internet first. So Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, US, Europe. The next billion is China. 600 million internet users, 560 million mobile internet users. It's the largest mobile-first, mobile-only market in the world. I started covering the internet in China in 2004 when the total market cap of all the companies in the internet sector was $3 billion. The total market value was only $3 billion. By 2007, it had grown to $18 billion. and now it's roughly 700 billion. So 3 out of the top 6 internet companies by market value are Chinese. And for the most part, these companies are only operating inside of China. There's 2 major money makers in China, e-commerce and games. So you're either having fun and paying for it, or you're buying stuff and having fun. Where is China behind? We just had a great talk from AdMaster. China sucks at advertising. The reason for this is that the market is controlled by 3 large players, and they do not want to know, you to know, they don't want their customers to know that the vast majority of advertising in China is fake. The average click-through rate until about a year ago in China was 2%. The average click-through rate in Taiwan is probably about 0.4% on a banner. Do you think that Chinese and Taiwanese and Americans are so different? No. We finally got real-time bidding and exchanges, and magically the average click-through rate in China went from 2% to 0.3, 0.5. Yeah, pretty low. Generally people in China, and they don't pay for software. There's no SaaS market. There's not a lot of B2B. But where is China ahead? China is way far ahead in social. So I would say that a year ago, 2 years ago, Facebook was maybe a year behind China. Now Facebook's 18 months behind China. If you go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you can't click and buy anything. Whereas in WeChat, and even Line and Kakao, most of the things you can click on, you can buy. China is way ahead in e-commerce. It's not that Chinese e-commerce companies are better than international e-commerce companies. It's just that there's no retail infrastructure in China. There are only 6,000 Adidas stores in China. It's not enough to cover the population. They're also way ahead in P2P finance. The Chinese financial system generally, the banking system generally sucks. So if you are a person or a small business, you can't get a loan. You can't get a credit card unless you have a house. Why do you need if I have a house, why do I need a credit card? I mean, there's no consumer debt. So right now, China P2P loans are 80% of the global total. And Bitcoin, you're probably familiar with renminbi, it's not particularly transferable. So China leads the world in Bitcoin ownership and trading. So you've heard these names. The numbers are actually their market cap in US billion. Baidu's had a rough time. They kind of missed mobile, working hard to catch up. So they're the quote-unquote loser of the 3. They're only worth $74 billion. Alibaba, we're going to talk a little bit about Tencent. And these numbers go up and down, but the Alibaba and Tencent generally around 200 billion each. So the last time I checked, which was probably 4 years ago, Tencent had 519 product groups. Product groups in Tencent are very different than a product group in Taiwan or the US or anywhere else in the world. They're like independent companies. So if you're a product director in Tencent, you're actually like a mini CEO. You have resources, you have staff, and you have a goal. And your goal is to grow at all expense, okay? So there's this great magazine cover of the #1 or #2 financial magazine in China. I think it's Taijin, where you got the cute QQ penguin. You guys you know the little penguin? Yeah? Okay, and the penguin is holding up a bloody knife in a pool of blood with hacked up logos of all the competitors that they killed strewn around the floor. Because Tencent's very well known for killing its competition, destroying startups. The reason for this is because these independent product groups are out there to win. If they grow, they get more resources. If they fail, they lost their chance. So there is no Innovators Dilemma. The Innovators Dilemma is a book that came out quite long ago now, where if you've got a large, well-performing business, do you start a competing business that will put your first business out of business? Okay, or do you just keep on milking the cash cow, keep on running your existing business? So do you invest in companies that will hurt your core business. Tencent does that as a business model. They have 519 or more different businesses in there. The biggest example of this is QQ, Mobile QQ, and WeChat. First, WeChat destroyed the competition, basically killed Weibo. Right now, WeChat is in the process of destroying QQ Mobile. And QQ Mobile is where the vast majority of Tencent's revenue comes from. 3 years ago, WeChat did not exist. Currently, of the 183 billion in market cap, according to stock analysts, WeChat is worth 83 billion. Okay? And they haven't even started monetizing it yet. They make $7 a user, and they're just getting started. And that's why you have a $200 billion company that's still growing revenue 34% year over year. Because they're continually destroying themselves and building themselves again anew. So with WeChat, you can do everything. I think do you guys all use WeChat? Anybody use all these services? Maybe not in Taiwan, I don't think so. But if you get a chance, go to China, check out all the services. You can buy a house, you can buy a car, you can buy people, you can buy services, taxi drivers, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. So WhatsApp, when I read this article, I thought the WhatsApp guys were a bunch of idiots. The only entrepreneurs in the world whose bankers are smarter than they are. Because they sold their company, I think for, was it 19 billion? Their bankers used the WeChat valuation to justify the sale price to Facebook. But WhatsApp charges 99 cents a year, and there's still no stickers. There's still no commerce. There's still just plain messaging. So in my view, it's a huge opportunity lost. So Facebook is closed. Facebook bought WhatsApp. But Facebook has been cloning WeChat for the last year. And if you look at the Facebook product roadmap for the next year, they're basically going to copy WeChat, product by product, service by service. In fact, they actually recently rolled out a product called Moments, which is what WeChat calls their social stream. They're a little bit different, but for Facebook, it has something to do with travel pictures. But the key here is that WeChat and Tencent traditionally were focused on basically killing the competition. And in their war with Alibaba and Baidu, they changed their strategy about a year and a half, 2 years ago, to be open. Because if you're in a war, you need allies. So they open it up, and you can basically put almost every single function you can put into an app into WeChat. And it's changed the world, it's changed China. So right now, increasingly, it's a WeChat world. We just live in it. And for the last year, at SOSV, we've been focused on building companies on top of the WeChat platform. Because you have low customer acquisition cost. For the first time in China, you can get users for free. In the US, you raise VC and you buy engineers, you hire engineers. In China, you raise VC and you spend it on marketing. So AdMaster's very happy. So customer acquisition cost is low. Monthly average users and conversion is something that you usually talk about with games. But now we're talking about it with e-commerce. So social, mobile, content-driven commerce. How many followers do you have? How many people in your community do you have? And then what percentage of those people are you converting to sale a month? It's going to change global e-commerce, because when Facebook finally catches up with WeChat, the global e-commerce structure will change. And hopefully we'll get a step ahead. So we've invested in verticals, from wine to parenting to luxury, tools, and we've done 22 investments out of 32 deals in the last year on this platform. So that's about talking about the next billion. What I'm here to talk about today, in my remaining time, is the last 4 billion, because that's where we think there's a huge opportunity. Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, South America, and I'm kind of leaving out Africa, but including Africa. These are the mobile-first, mobile-only countries. Unfortunately, no one is focused on them. Okay, there's no real app store there, no wallet, very little virality, and as a result, you can't make money. So anybody here from Google? Okay, good. So if you are in Southeast Asia and you do not use Google Wallet, so Google Wallet doesn't work in Southeast Asia. So if you are in Southeast Asia, you're an app and you put Google Wallet in, then you can be on the Google Play Store. But you can't monetize because nobody, the wallet doesn't work. So if you're an app and you put MOL or another payment platform in your app, Google Play kicks you off. So you're basically screwed. Things are going to change, and they're changing right now. There's been a war in China between Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu, and it's spilling out into the rest of the world. Tencent was spending, when they launched WeChat internationally, $120,000 US per day on advertising WeChat outside of China. Fortunately for all of us, Chinese-style advertising does not generally work outside of China. They got about 100 million users, but most of the people are not using the platform. But they have an interesting model. I call it the Shanghai model, but it's basically a model where you have a phone, okay? You sell the phone for almost nothing. You don't make money on the phone. That's why Taiwan hardware phone makers are in deep trouble, because the hardware is basically going to be given away for free. And the money comes from the internet side. The money comes from the software. So whatever software or whatever services or whatever apps, when they monetize, they share with the hardware platform. The biggest example of this is Xiaomi. They don't really make money on the phones. They make money on the back end. Okay? So this is a little hard to read, and this is App Annie data. App Annie is awesome. They're a sponsor here today, and hopefully they're not in the room, because I'm not sure I'm supposed to be showing this to you. But this is iOS, Google Play data for October for Brazil. And what I want you to look at is the flags. So number 1 is Facebook, but number 2, 6, and 10 are Chinese companies, little red flags there. We know Cheetah Mobile, probably Baidu. Anybody know who Doodle is? Okay, like one. Hey, hi Ray. So one company, one of you know who Doodle. It's a Chinese game developer. This is Google Play for Brazil. And we go from 3 to the same 3, different 3, but they're larger. Cheetah is still number 2. Baidu moves up from 10 to 5. And we got something called Leo Master, and I don't know what Leo Master is. The really scary thing is that here's Google Play Global. 5 out of the top 10 are Chinese. Most of you probably don't know half of these companies, and I'm pretty sure you don't use any of their apps. How can they be 5 out of the top 10 and you never heard of them? Because they're in the next 4 billion, and they're in the rest of the world. So China and Chinese app developers are dominating Southeast Asia, South America, and there's a pretty big war going on in Eastern Europe right now. So what's the solution? Today we're announcing a partnership with a company in Taiwan that I invested in 4 years ago. I led their Series A, called GMIC. Probably none of you have ever heard of the company. Has anybody heard of this company? Okay, 2, 3. Okay, great. We'd like to keep it that way, so don't tell anybody. They have a smartphone platform, basically an Android ROM. And they have 100 million users in Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and South America, Android 4.2 and above. They're adding 7 million users per month. And we're announcing our MOX accelerator today, mobile-only accelerator. And we're putting an accelerator program, investment plus help, on top of the GMOBI platform. So this is a screenshot of my phone. One of the companies that's going to be in MOX 1 is a cloud photo app. Now, most people would never develop a cloud photo storage, sharing, and management app. Why? Because we have Apple Photo, we have Google Photo. Why would you need another photo app? Well, the general answer, if you're in the US, Europe, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, is you don't. But if you have a cloud photo app and 100 million users, suddenly you are number 3 in the world. So we've got 100 million in distribution. As part of this accelerator program, we'll be giving out unlimited free distribution to our accelerator partners. What does that mean? Well, if you're on Google Play, you have to have Google Wallet and you can't monetize. On our platform, you get the distribution. We have all the user data. We have advertising SDK. Probably most importantly, we have a payment SDK for 50+ countries. So you can distribute for free, make money, and it's all revenue share based. So we're trying to flip the script and bring the sort of Shanghai phone model to the rest of the world, but do it in a way that's fair and opens up the markets and doesn't hold you back. You know, we're not going to make you well, we are going to make you use our payment SDK and ad SDK, but we're not going to do what Xiaomi does, which is, you know, take 20 to 30% of your company, make you use the Xiaomi name, and if you're a hardware maker, sell below cost. So, spent the last, I don't know, 13 years working in China, and 16 years in Greater China overall. And one thing I've learned is that it doesn't really play well to play fair. It doesn't work well to play fair. As an investor, we're focused on unfair advantage. So if you get into a knife fight, okay, the easiest way to win is to bring a gun. So we're trying to bring that to Taiwan with MOX. We're bringing in an unfair advantage, and our focus here is to bring the leading startups from all around the world to the MOX program, which will be in Taipei, 2 batches a year. We'll be bringing our mentors from around the world to Taipei to help the companies. And we're partnering with accelerators and angel investors and companies from around the world to bring the best into Taiwan and change the market, help the companies go global. Don't need to talk about myself that much. So for SOSV, you probably never heard of us. We invest in 160 companies a year through our 7 accelerator programs. We have a 38% net realized IRR for the last 10 years and the last 18 years, which basically means we don't suck. And I can take no credit for that because I only joined 14 months ago. But thank you very much. My time's up. So please get in touch with me, apply for MOX. We take companies from angel stage all the way to post-Series B. Anyone who's interested in tapping into what is now 100 million users in Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, South America, and by the end of next year should hopefully top 300 million. So thank you very much.